This is CTV News with Nafisa Karim.
It's a bit strange that there isn't that recognition here.
It's quite surprising when you brought that to my attention.
Searching for a Michelin Star, why Vancouver Island doesn't have the coveted foodie accolade and how it might get one. Also tonight.
This is an issue around space primarily, and I look forward to learning more and seeing, doing everything that we can to achieve a solution there.
The push to save a specialized health clinic at risk of closure on the Saanich Peninsula. Plus, Adam finds out the story behind a Halloween display that's been growing for decades. Later on the Sawatsky sign-off. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. We begin tonight with a dive into a coveted accolade. Not one restaurant on Vancouver Island or the Gulf Islands has a Michelin Star. It's a prestigious award that recognizes outstanding restaurants and serves as a beacon for foodies around the world. Tonight, CTV's Anna McMillan asks why the island's best restaurants are without.
The collective trophy shelf of Vancouver Island restaurants is stuffed, but there is one accolade that eludes them all: a Michelin Star.
Everything a guest experiences when they come into that restaurant is what Michelin grades you on. So if you think that you're excellent, then that is kind of the gold standard.
The operations manager for Rudy in Victoria thinks several island restaurants are worthy, such as Marilena and Pluvio when you Cluelit.
It's a bit strange that there isn't that recognition here.
When we started asking why the island doesn't have any stars, it became clear there's an information gap. Destination Greater Victoria didn't know the answer, and neither did the BC Restaurant Association.
Vancouver Island is a mecca of great restaurants, so it's quite surprising when you brought that to my attention. I never really thought about it, and it needs to happen.
The reason is actually quite simple. Michelin's International Restaurant Guide has only expanded to 3 Canadian destinations: the Vancouver, Toronto, and Quebec City areas.
The information gap that exists is because it's not a well-known concept within our country.
To bring new culinary hotspots to light, Michelin tells CTV News it has a partnership approach with local tourism agencies. It says those agencies may cover some marketing costs.
The fact that we don't have any Michelin star restaurants is absolutely fine for Vancouver Island. I think we stand really, really strong in our culinary experiences across the entire region.
Still, there's hope Michelin's famously anonymous inspectors will take a trip to the island.
There's so many restaurants up and down the island and in Victoria that just, could be recognized if given the chance.
Anna McMillan, CTV News, Victoria.
The Victoria International Airport has marked its busiest 3 months in its history. The period between July and September welcomed more than 227,000 passengers, with the month of August standing out as the busiest month ever recorded at YYJ. This past August saw an 11.3% increase over last August, exceeding the airport's forecast. So far this year, YYJ has already welcomed 1.5 million passengers, fueled by what the airport authority is calling robust domestic demand, stable traffic to the U.S., and having strong international routes. The top 3 destinations by seat capacity has been flights to Vancouver, Calgary, and Toronto. A southern Vancouver Island clinic that's dedicated to treating people with addictions, mental illness, and chronic disease says it's at risk of closure. In July, CTV News put a spotlight on Spot, the Saanich Peninsula outreach team. This doctor says his team and its clinic space is too small to be sustainable. It shares a space with Island Health in the Peninsula Health Unit and says its doctors are restricted to one exam room, even when others are open and better suited to their patients' needs. The health minister is responding today.
So we'll continue to hear from the clinic and speak with Island Health about opportunities. I know that Island Health will continue to support them in other ways, that this is an issue around space primarily, and I look forward to learning more and seeing, doing everything that we can to achieve a solution there.
Island Health says it agreed to temporarily provide Spot with a space at the Peninsula Health Unit to support the establishment of the clinic. The family of a 21-year-old father who was killed in a hit-and-run last year near Nanaimo is still looking for answers. A sign was put up yesterday along Harmac Road in Cedar, where Charles Tommy, a beloved Saanich First Nation member, lost his life after being hit by a vehicle almost a year ago. Family and friends hope the sign will provide some answers and closure. The $3,500 reward has also been increased to $10,000. People can contact Tommy's aunt, Kate Good, with any information that could lead to an arrest.
Most importantly, the parents deserve closure. The parents need to move forward in their healing journey, and they're not able to do that with this hanging over their heads. So my hopes is that somebody does come forward.
Nanaimo RCMP says the investigation is still ongoing. A warning, this next story contains some images that some viewers may find graphic. A pet insurance company is supporting the BC SPCA as the animal welfare group nurses a litter of kittens back to health. It's matching donations up to $3,000. The SPCA says an accidental litter of 8 kittens were turned over by their owner in Victoria, who became overwhelmed caring for them. All of them had eye infections, with the 3 you see here being the most severe. Staff say they fought to save the most seriously affected kitten's eye. Lucy is receiving veterinary care and is in quarantine with 2 other siblings who are getting the same treatment. The SPCA says the trio is starting to feel better. A group that represents whale watching operators is sharing a photo of a young humpback with a gash in its dorsal fin. The team believes it's the result of a vessel strike. The Pacific Whale Watch Association says the injured calf named Skipper was spotted Monday, a few kilometers from the scene of a reported collision over the weekend. Hullo Ferries, which operates between Nanaimo and Vancouver, said one of its vessels likely struck a whale near Vancouver in English Bay. The association is also sharing a photo that it says shows the same calf uninjured the day before the reported ferry strike.
We have seen, sadly, a lot of other whales with even more serious injuries be able to recover and lead normal lives. Another thing going for them is that they do actually have a pretty thick layer of blubber. So even though it looks really bad, a lot of that is just fatty tissue and not necessarily, muscle or things like that.
These photos of Skipper were taken before the injury. We contacted Hullo Ferries for comment and did not hear back. Health officials are rolling up their sleeves as the province starts administering flu and COVID-19 vaccines for virus season. BC's health minister says the province has secured almost 2 million doses of the flu vaccine and 1.4 million doses for COVID-19. The booking system opened October 15th, and already more than 300,000 doses of vaccine have been provided. Health Minister Josie Osborne also addressed concerns with misinformation and disinformation about vaccines.
These false claims can undermine confidence in proven public health measures and make it harder for people to make informed choices. Here in British Columbia, we base our health policies and decisions on strong scientific evidence and expert medical advice.
Influenza and COVID-19, they do evolve, they change on an ongoing basis. And because of that, we need to update the vaccines so that we can actually match the best way possible what circulates with the vaccine, and you get the best protection.
Folks are encouraged to look up their particular situation to know which vaccines are best suited and most recommended for you. A delegation of firefighters and survivors of wildfires are calling on the federal government to step up support. After one of the worst Canadian wildfire seasons on record, the group is putting out 3 calls to action. It wants the federal government to double national wildfire training and equipment funding, strengthened coordination capacity between provinces and territories, and it's calling on the government to cut pollution by investing in clean Canadian power.
Our wildfire system was built for a different era. The system and the people that hold it together are being pushed to their limits. We need federal leadership that matches the scale of the problem to close the gaps that are leaving us all vulnerable.
As part of the event, the delegation says it's turning over a petition from thousands of Canadians.
16 degrees for a daytime high, currently sitting at 14 under mostly cloudy skies in Victoria. More rain in the forecast over the next couple of days, especially for western and northern parts of the island. Those details after the break.
CTV weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises. Plan, book, and safeguard your journeys. Explore the possibilities at expediacruises.ca.
West Shore Youth, looking for a fun spot to hang out? Youth nights are here. Skating, art, swims, and a place to chill. Staff-led and supervised for a safe, inclusive vibe. Check out WSPR.ca for more info.
Well, Josh, I understand that if I have any hatches, I should seriously consider battening them shortly.
Especially if you're in northern parts of the island where we have a wind warning right now. Could see gusts up over 100 kilometers per hour for some areas. We'll get to that in a second. 15 degrees in Victoria right now after 16 for a daytime high. Comox, Port Alberni sitting at 11 degrees. There's your wind warning. Port Hardy areas off to the south and to the east, gusts 80 to 110 kilometers per hour tonight and through the day tomorrow. There's the showers that have been making their way across the island through the course of the day today. Really didn't amount to all that much in Victoria, and that'll be the case again tomorrow. Here's the next system getting set to punch its way in from the west. And again, the heaviest of the rain is going to miss Victoria from Tofino north towards Port Hardy. That's where the heaviest of the rain will fall tonight and through most of the day tomorrow. And then as that front drops south, you get some steadier rain late Thursday night and through the day Friday in Victoria. So it's Thursday night, Friday that will pick up most of the moisture in and around Victoria. But look at, by the end of tomorrow, could see 60 to 80 millimeters worth of rain in the north. Tofino gets about 20 to 30 millimeters of rain. Not much for Victoria, if anything at all. And then about 10 to 15 by the end of the day Friday. And look at these, some of these estimated rainfall totals with even more here in this gray zone. Could see over 100 millimeters worth of rain to go along with some really gusty wind. 15 degrees in the north with heavy rain tomorrow, and then in the 8 to 10 degree range for Friday through the weekend and into Monday. Rain for inland areas, gusty, and a high of 13 tomorrow. And then late Friday and into Saturday, you get some rain, and even Sunday could see some scattered showers. 12s out on the west coast for tomorrow and Friday. Heavy, steady rain, and wind gusts will be 60 to 80 kilometers per hour. Looks a little calmer for Friday and Saturday, but still awfully wet with temperatures pretty close to average. 13 degrees in Comox, periods of rain, especially the heaviest of that rain late in the day tomorrow through the afternoon and evening hours. Wind gusts 60 to 70 kilometers per hour. Friday, cloudy for most of the day. We'll get to about 12 degrees. And then late Friday, you get some rain rolling in. That actually could be a decent amount of rain. And Sunday as well could be some steadier rain in the Comox area. Windy in Nanaimo and periods of rain for tomorrow with a high of 14. 14 on Friday. Most of the rain Friday comes really early in the morning and then late in the day. A few scattered showers possible for the weekend. Doesn't look as steady as what the next couple of days could be. Mostly cloudy, 40% chance of some late day showers tomorrow in Victoria, and a high of 14, as we said, tomorrow night and through the day Friday. That's when most of the rain will fall, about 10 to 15 millimeters, and some more rain for Saturday, Sunday, although it doesn't look as heavy or steady, and temperatures really don't drop all that much. Still pretty close to average through the weekend. CTV weather is brought to you by Expedia Cruises for air, land, and sea vacations. Hatches battened and umbrellas activated.
All right. Thanks, Josh. One of Canada, or rather some of Canada's top high school runners hit the trails today at Saanich's Beaver Lake Park for the Vancouver Island High School Cross Country Championships. Look at them go. Roughly 600 kids participating, spread out between 4 categories of junior girls, junior boys, senior girls, and senior boys. The junior races covered 4 kilometers of trails. Senior divisions covered 5. Winners of today's event qualified for the BC Championships happening in Nanaimo next weekend.
The really beautiful thing about cross country is that everyone's here. So we have people who have just started running this year. We have people who won national championships, and they're all on the same start line, and they're all running the same course and all trying to do their very best. So some kids are definitely looking to win and qualify for BCs. Some teams are doing so, and then some teams are just celebrating a really wonderful season that they've had.
The course includes grass, dirt trails, crushed gravel, and steep downhill terrain. Well, Friday can't come soon enough for the Toronto Blue Jays and their fans. That's when the team takes on the defending champion LA Dodgers. So how do these two teams stack up? CTV's Heather Wright looks at the numbers.
Tinseltown versus Hogtown. Hollywood versus, well, Hollywood North. The World Series heads to Toronto this week. 2 teams, 2 cities, but only 1 champion.
Nervous, a little bit of an upset tummy, but I think we can do it. I think the Blue Jays have more spirit. They play like the team is even all the way down from 1 to 9, and they play like a team.
As they were at the start of the season, the Dodgers are the betting favorites to win their second World Series title in as many years.
She's gone!
Well, the Blue Jays have gone from worst to first, finishing dead last in the American League in 2024 to winning it all this year.
I think that it's anybody's game, and I think the Jays are the underdogs, and the underdogs always come out.
The LA Dodgers have won 8 World Series in their history compared to 2 for the Toronto Blue Jays. And when it comes to payroll, both teams may be big spenders, but LA has doled out far more cash for stars like Shohei Ohtani and Mookie Betts.
The Dodgers' payroll is closer to $350 million, whereas the Blue Jays is about $250. So $100 million, that's a huge gap, right? That's another Shohei Ohtani or 2, right? That they can afford with that difference.
And while the Dodgers took the season series against the Blue Jays 2-1, the Jays have the better regular season record and have earned home field advantage because of it, which at least one statistician says gives the Jays a slight edge.
When I did a simple statistical model and just tried to put it all together, I'm currently estimating Toronto with a 52.46% chance of winning the World Series.
At the end of the day, though, there really is only one number that matters, and that is 4. 4 games to win the World Series. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
There are signs early screening for breast cancer works as many provinces sign up, including BC. Women as young as 40 years old are having mammograms, and the numbers show the diagnostic tool is helping catch the disease early. CTV's Sarah Plowman reports.
At 34, Alicia O'Brien noticed a lump in her breast.
And I sat on it for a long time, hoping that it would go away.
That lump didn't leave. A mammogram and biopsy revealed what she had feared.
It came back with a positive diagnosis for cancer, for stage 3 breast cancer in my right breast.
Surgery, chemotherapy, and radiation followed. For 3 years, she's been in remission. As more provinces open up routine breast cancer screening to women in their 40s, she's urging people to go.
Go and do the test. Go and do it scared. Get it out of the way.
At what age routine screening should start has been hotly debated. Current Canadian guidelines recommend 50, but many provinces, including Ontario, have dropped the age to 40. Since Ontario's program expanded last October, about 184,000 women in their 40s have been screened. That's about 18% of women in that age group.
Usually in a screening program, we aim for 70% of women being screened, but we have not achieved that yet, especially for the women 40 to 49, because there has been a lot of controversy about the guidelines.
At the Ottawa Hospital, women in their 40s are now getting screened in similar numbers as those in their 50s and 60s.
This really indicated that there was a pent-up demand, and I am diagnosing cancer, early breast cancer, in these young women.
Brian is thankful her cancer was found, removed, and treated.
It's the putting it off and not getting screened is where it becomes dangerous.
A message she hopes is heard. Sarah Plowman, CTV News, Fredericton.
Coming up, spooky smiles. Adam finds out why a Halloween fan says he sometimes inspires more smiles than Santa. Next on the Sawatsky Sign-Off. Finally, when Adam happened upon a pair of skeletons sitting on a bench, he ended up meeting a man who's been building his annual Halloween display for decades. On the Sawatsky Sign-Off.
After happening upon this deceased duo, the first living person to walk past is Wee Wong.
It's just random, random guys.
Wee says skeletons start congregating round his house the day after Labor Day.
This is nothing compared to what's coming.
At least 2 will take over the truck.
It's storage.
Before another gets behind the wheel of the boat.
Every day some stuff trickles out of my garage and my basement.
And every day, after working as a mechanic,
I got boxes and boxes.
Wee will spend a couple hours with this spooky stuff.
People, they watch the progress, and they're walking by every day and say, ooh, 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 ooh.
Preparing for the big night.
You want a happy story?
Wee's Halloween story began when his family moved to Canada when he was 6.
When I was a kid, I used the same costume for years and years and years, right?
When he had kids of his own, Wee ensured that every year they could get new costumes and experience new thrills.
You know, basically, I had kids that are now grown up, and I'm stuck with the Halloween stuff, and they're gone.
But because Wee made so many happy memories with them, his now grown kids will come back to help their dad on Halloween night.
Need a hand?
To make memorable moments for the thousands of kids in the neighborhood expected to tour his display.
Some of the smiles are bigger than what Santa gives you.
Well, the skeletons are showing their age.
I'm 63 now, just an old kid.
Wee has found that giving back to the community like this keeps him young at heart.
Everybody's good at something, and I guess this is what I do.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Vancouver.
That is it for CTV News Vancouver Island. Thank you so much for joining us. Good night. Today on CTV News.
$35,000 in cash, 2.5 kilograms of illicit drugs, including fentanyl, a taser, 9 guns, both real and imitation.
Drugs, cash, and weapons, the results of a 6-week crackdown on crime in the downtown east side. Also tonight.
I just want all the business to be aware of what's going on and really have your cameras.
The simple but surprising credit card scam that tricked a Yaletown business out of thousands of dollars. And
we have seen, sadly, a lot of other whales with even more serious injuries be able to recover and lead normal lives.
A passenger ferry hits a whale in English Bay. Researchers now believe it was a calf, and it's hurt.
This is CTV News with Nafisa Kareem.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with a major seizure of drugs, weapons, and stolen property. It's the result of a 6-week police investigation targeting an alleged crime group in Vancouver's downtown east side. Vancouver police say 3 men in their 50s were arrested last month after officers with Task Force Barrage launched an investigation near Carroll and East Hastings Streets. Police identified the West Hotel and its pub as the base of operations for the alleged criminal network, saying several rooms were used to store and traffic drugs, weapons, and stolen goods. Investigators seized about 2.5 kilograms of fentanyl, cocaine, and methamphetamine, along with $35,000 in cash and another $30,000 in stolen merchandise.
This is a reminder that although we've made significant progress in the downtown east side, organized criminals are still finding ways to work in the neighborhood and to profit at the expense of this neighborhood's most vulnerable population.
Police say charges have yet to be laid as the investigation remains ongoing. A warning now about this next story. It may be disturbing for some viewers. The Independent Investigations Office has determined a Vancouver police officer who shot and killed a suspect who was attacking 2 convenience store workers last December acted appropriately.
Move over! Take out! Move over!
This police-involved shooting of the knife-wielding suspect at a 7-Eleven on Robson Street last December began when the man entered the store and began harassing employees for free cigarettes. He returned with 2 knives and cornered 2 employees behind the counter. When a taser didn't stop him from stabbing the cowering employees, one of the officers shot and killed the man.
We had to gather evidence that would either justify or not justify the use of that force. In this case, we found that the man who was in the store threatening the store employees clearly represented a threat of grievous bodily harm or death to the 2 civilian witnesses in the store, and therefore the officer who ended up discharging his firearm was justified. And in fact, we found he was duty-bound to use his firearm and use any force necessary to protect those civilian witnesses from harm.
The IIO report revealed both of the 7-Eleven employees were injured in the attack. One of them stabbed multiple times by the suspect. The other hit in the eye by a bullet fragment from the officer's gun. John Rustad is facing growing calls to resign as leader of the BC Conservatives. A letter addressed to Rustad and signed by the party's president and 6 other members of its management committee calls on him to immediately step down. The letter cites, quote, chaos and an unprecedented level of turmoil that has engulfed the party. It goes on to say that turmoil under his leadership has undermined the party's credibility and destabilized its cohesion. Rustad telling reporters in Victoria today he's not going anywhere.
I went around this province and toured as a leadership. 71% of the members voted in favor of my leadership. If you take out some of the little nonsense that was going on within 2 ridings, it would have been up into the mid-80s. I believe strongly in democracy. They've given me a mandate to carry forward. And there are some people, clearly, that don't believe in that democracy. And that's fine. They've got that right to voice their opinion. But I'm going to be carrying forward with the work that needs to be done.
Under the party's constitution, the board can't force out the leader. This all comes after MLA Amelia Boltby resigned yesterday. She was the 5th MLA to have quit or been kicked out of the party since last October. The owner of a Yaletown salon has a warning for other businesses after a fraudster managed to steal nearly $5,000 in a matter of seconds. CTV's Ben Milger has tracked down other businesses in Alberta and Ontario with similar cases involving the same suspect.
Joseph Jahari has been a fixture in Yaletown for decades, welcoming clients to Pink Lime Salon and Spa. In all that time, he's never experienced anything like what happened when this man came in to buy a $20 hairbrush.
They want to put it on their credit card, but they took the machine, and instead of them putting their PIN number, they refund themselves $4,900.
The man tore the receipt from the machine and then abruptly left without even taking the hairbrush. Jahari reported the theft to police. After a lengthy back and forth with Moneris, the company that processes the transactions, he's finally getting the $4,900 back. But the company didn't agree to that until being contacted by CTV News.
I just want all the business to be aware of what's going on and really have your cameras. That helps always, because that's the only way you're going to identify the clients who is coming into your salon.
Since speaking with Jahari about the fraud, we've managed to track down 1 business in Alberta and 2 in Ontario that have fallen victim to the same scam. They each provided us with pictures and videos showing the same man using the same technique to steal thousands of dollars in a matter of seconds. As there have been no arrests or charges, CTV News has to blur the suspect. In Belleville, Ontario, he hit a shop called T-Shirt Explosion. A man got away with $4,999.99, 1 cent below the refund limit on the machine.
$5,000 being taken can make or break a business. It could easily close a small business, so of course it was scary hearing about it. And it was just a terrible scenario.
The owner of this burger joint in Cambridge, Ontario, had his refund limit set to $100, but an over-the-air software update reset it, and the thief managed to scam the restaurant for $4,900.
Even if those POS devices have been hardened or secured in the past, that security is often overridden now that the patch or update has been applied.
Some of the businesses have been compensated by Moneris, but some have not. They're all advising others to keep a close eye when customers are handling sales terminals. Ben Milger, CTV News, Vancouver.
After the break, a young humpback injured after it was hit by a passenger ferry in English Bay. But first,
bounce down, Mantha, back in front, Brazeau, scores!
Win streak snapped. The Canucks stumble in Pittsburgh, and with several players out with injuries, can they bounce back? The Rinkside Report is next.
The Rinkside Report, brought to you by
CapitalDirect.ca. Let's make your vision a reality with Capital Direct.
Welcome back. The Vancouver Canucks have already guaranteed a winning record on their 5-game road trip, but it sure doesn't feel like it after last night's lopsided loss to Sidney Crosby and the Pittsburgh Penguins. It's not all doom and gloom, however. As CTV's Yasmin Gandam reports, one of the team's best players should be back in action tomorrow. Here's this week's Rinkside Report.
Tyler Myers and Kiefer Sherwood scoring 41 seconds apart in the first period in Washington Sunday. And the good vibes continued in Pittsburgh Tuesday with Connor Garland scoring just over a minute into the game.
Here's Connor Garland with a step on the right wing. He shoots, he scores.
But the team crashed in the second period.
We didn't do anything after that, really. So really bad effort tonight.
The Penguins scored 3 times in a little more than 3 minutes with the Canucks running on empty. The final score 5-1 for the Penguins.
Can't let games slip like this. Yes, we've been playing some good hockey lately, but it doesn't come easy. So we just got to bring it every night.
The Canucks have been dealing with 5 players injured or on leave, including top forward Brock Besser, who's missed the past 2 games for personal reasons, leaving them with no choice but to call up some replacements from the AHL.
It's too much to ask the Abbotsford call-up guys to step in and be difference makers. That's not who they are.
Despite the team desperately needing goals and missing some key players, the top lineup was barely on the ice in Pittsburgh.
Particularly Elias Pettersson and Jake DeBrusk, who led this team in goal scoring last year. They were among the lowest skaters in ice time in Pittsburgh.
Head coach Adam Foote says there is a good chance Besser will be back for Thursday's road trip finale in Nashville, and Teddy Bluger, a strong penalty killer, could also draw back into the lineup. Yasmin Gandam, CTV News, Vancouver.
The Rinkside Report, brought to you by Capital Direct.
CapitalDirect.ca. A group representing whale watching operators is sharing a photo of a young humpback with a gash in its dorsal fin, which it believes is the result of a vessel strike. The Pacific Whale Watch Association says the injured calf named Skipper was spotted Monday, a few kilometers from the scene of a reported collision over the weekend. Hullo Ferries, which operates between Nanaimo and Vancouver, said one of its vessels likely struck a whale near English Bay. The association also shared a photo it says shows the same calf uninjured the day before the reported ferry strike.
We have seen, sadly, a lot of other whales with even more serious injuries be able to recover and lead normal lives. Another thing going for them is that they do actually have a pretty thick layer of blubber. So even though it looks really bad, a lot of that is just fatty tissue and not necessarily, muscle or things like that.
These photos of Skipper were taken before the injury. We contacted Hullo Ferries for comment and did not hear back. After the break, grab your galoshes. Anne's got a soggy forecast. Plus, look at that face. How can you resist? We'll show you how you can adopt these little nuggets coming up in our Homeward Bound segment. Stay with us. It's a wet-looking Robson Street out there. I don't see a ton of umbrellas, but I definitely needed mine at lunch today, and I got rained on.
Me too. I got caught in the rain, and I also like pina coladas. But right now, it is dry out there, so enjoy the moment. We'll see more in the way of wet weather as we head into the next couple of days. We're dealing with warnings right now. Wind warnings for Haida Gwaii, north and central coast, as well as north and east Vancouver Island and the central interior, as well as the Sunshine Coast. You'll see winds gusting to about 110 kilometers an hour, 50 to 80 millimeters of rain for inland sections of the north coast, and a new warning in place, rainfall warnings for the western sections of Vancouver Island as well. So here's a look at our storm tracker. Rain through this evening, overnight into tomorrow morning. It will be heavy at times, as you can see in the yellows and oranges, continuing through tomorrow afternoon. For us on the south coast across lower mainland, we'll see showers to start off the day with a few breaks through the afternoon. But as you can see, another system moves its way in, bringing in more rain for the northern tip tip of Vancouver Island. For the southern interior, a mix of sun and cloud from Vernon right down to Suez. Temperatures between 13 and 14 degrees. 16 for Kamloops with some sunny breaks in there. Mostly sunny skies for Nelson and Cranbrook, highs to 13 degrees. For the central interior, sunny breaks from Prince George right down to Williams Lake. Periods of rain for Bella Coola, heavy at times with a high of 15 degrees. Wet and windy for Prince Rupert Terrace. You'll see heavy rain, sunny breaks for the northeast corner of the province. For the North Island, wet and windy with winds gusting to about 110 kilometers an hour. Soggy as well. 13 degrees for Campbell River and Comox. That's what you can expect for the South Island. It'll be very wet from Tofino right down to Nanaimo. Showers for the Southern Gulf Islands and Victoria. 14 degrees for the Sunshine Coast. Stormy conditions at 12. Cooler up the Sea to Sky Highway with showers. 10 degrees. And for us across the Lower Mainland, we will see rain to start off the day with some breaks through the afternoon. 14 degrees across the board. Heading into Friday, we will see steady rain. 13 degrees continuing to Saturday, tapering off on Sunday afternoon. And then on Monday, it clears up. Still cools down 10 degrees under a mix of sun and cloud.
Please let there be snow in the mountains. That's what I'm wishing for.
All right. You will get some snow.
Ooh, I also want a winning lottery ticket, Anne.
All right. Done and done.
Thanks. Time for Homeward Bound, our weekly segment where we introduce you to furry friends from our local rescues. They're looking for their forever home.
Yeah, here are some furry friends from the BC SPCA. Take a look at these guys. More than a dozen Chihuahuas are looking for a fresh start, including Nana and Boba. They were recently surrendered to the SPCA along with 13 other dogs from home where they weren't getting the care they needed. The SPCA says despite their rough past, these pups are full of heart and ready for a second chance.
Sweet little faces. All right, meet Kestrel. One-year-old feline is affectionate yet independent, striking the perfect balance of sweet and spunky. She's social, smart, and ready to form a lifelong bond with her new owner. Kestrel is available for adoption at SPCA's West Vancouver Animal Center.
Adorable. And last but certainly not least is Jackie, a big and bold 3-year-old cat with an even bigger personality. He isn't your typical lap cat and likes his personal space, but earn his trust and you'll find a loyal companion with a heart of gold. Jackie is available for adoption at the SPCA's Richmond Animal Center.
And we've got a happy update to share from last month's segment. Meow Gaffone, the chatty orange tabby, has been adopted from the SPCA in Richmond.
Adorable. And for more information about these furry friends, head to adopt.spca.bc.ca.
Thanks, Anne. Still ahead, why a pug named Phoebe is serving guests at an Irish pub in Calgary, but first.
And here the dang bird is hanging on the front of the truck, still alive.
Not just any bird, that is a majestic bald eagle stuck in the grill of a pickup truck. We'll show you what happened next and take a look at this.
Your morning just got a little brighter. Wake up and start your day with CTV Your Morning, and you could be $20,000 richer. Simply watch CTV Your Morning Vancouver for the hourly code word. Then enter it online at ctvvancouver.ca for your chance to win. Imagine what you could do with an extra $20,000. CTV Your Morning's $20,000 giveaway. Watch CTV Your Morning Vancouver, weekday morning 6 to 9.
Netflix has announced plans for a major merchandise push based on K-pop Demon Hunters, which has become its most streamed movie ever. The company says it's working with Mattel and Hasbro to license a range of products based on the franchise, including games, toys, and collectibles. A new trailer has been released for an upcoming sci-fi series from the creator of some of TV's most acclaimed shows.
Good morning, Carol. Is there anything we could do to cheer you up?
From Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul creator Vince Gilligan, Rhea Seehorn stars as a woman who's on a mission to save the world from happiness. She's surrounded by a creepy cast of somehow always happy people who just want to turn her frown upside down. The first 2 episodes of Pluribus will debut on Apple TV on November 7th. Fans of the Muppets will have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to own a piece of television history for the very first time. The Jim Henson Company confirmed today it's offering up a selection of puppets, props, and memorabilia to members of the public to mark the company's 70th anniversary. The company behind the Muppets, Fraggle Rock, and other classics says more than 400 items will be up for sale at its Hollywood headquarters next month. Proceeds will go towards preserving the Jim Henson Company's archives for future generations. Now with a preview of CTV News at 6, Mi-Jung Lee.
Nafisa, the calls for BC Conservative leader John Rustad to resign are growing louder. Top party brass have sent Rustad a letter outlining why they want him to step down. This comes a day after another MLA quit the caucus. How Rustad's responding to the deepening dissent. And major turf trouble for a Fraser Valley farmer. Someone stole a car and decided to trash his fields by doing donuts. How much the damage will cost him. And some Vancouver City staff have been ordered to return to the office 5 days a week. I'll be back at 6. Nafisa?
Thanks, Mi-Jung. A group of bears at a California zoo got an unexpected visitor from the outside world, and a bald eagle finds itself in an unusual position while catching a ride with a pickup truck. Jeremy Roth has some Wednesday wild animals, and today's Take a Look at This.
Recently, a California zoo had a very unexpected visitor to one of its bear exhibits, a bear. Everybody confused? Let me explain. The Sequoia Park Zoo in Eureka, California is home to many wild animals, including several bears, some of which were placed in captivity strategically after being deemed unsuitable for release into the wild. 3 of those bears got a taste of the wild side when a wild black bear snuck into the park and mingled with the enclosed bears through a fence. Officials say the visiting bear was polite, curious, and not aggressive, and they suspect it made its way in using its tree climbing skills, a normal activity of its resident bears, as seen here. Park workers later opened a gate, and the wild bear eventually wandered out. Social media users got a kick out of the furry trespasser's adventure and shared some silly suggestions for the unexpected visit. Speaking of wild animals where they aren't supposed to be, take a look at a bald eagle that got itself stuck in the grill of a pickup truck on a Minnesota highway. According to WDAY, when Cindy Vagel says she spotted the bird and slowed down to take a look, it took flight. Next thing she knew...
And here that dang bird is hanging on the front of the truck, still alive.
If this all seems familiar, a similar scenario unfolded in Iowa in 2020. KWWL reported an eagle was safely released after getting stuck not just on a truck's grill, but all the way inside it. As for this recent incident, Vagel called authorities who brought in DNR officials who were able to safely remove and release the majestic bird of prey.
Wish I knew what was going through that bird's mind. That must have been quite the experience for it.
For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
That might be my favorite witness clip ever. She was great. Speaking of great, we've got a dog named Phoebe who fetched more than just laughs in Calgary after she became Alberta's newest and most unlikely certified bartender. Yeah, the 9-year-old pug earned a valid provincial Pro Serve certificate, the same one required for human servers after an artificial intelligence program completed the online training in minutes. Now, this was done as a joke, but digital security experts say it highlights serious gaps in the integrity of Alberta's online testing. Phoebe has since had her certification rightly revoked, ending what may be the shortest bartending career ever, but maybe the cutest bartending degree ever.
And hopefully she gets to still hang out at the bar whenever she wants.
I don't know if that's food safe, but okay.
I say yes. All right, let's take a look at our scenic snapshot for tonight. A beautiful view from the Little Mountain Stairs Trail in Chilliwack. Thanks, Linda, for sending this one in. And we want to see your scenic snapshot as well, so email us at scenicsnapshot@ctv.ca.
All right, Mi-Jung will be back for CTV News at 6. Right now, here's Sandy Ronaldo with CTV National News. See ya.